Today, this will be the video lecture concerning the next lesson for this module about special topics, biodiversity. Just like with the previous video lecture, it will have its own Easter egg hunt, so please be aware of that. So, concerning the biodiversity, it is different from biotechnology, but they are structurally almost the same by wording. So they both have the word bio or the part bio in there, referring to life. So in biotechnology, it refers to life being used in advancing technology. And now in biodiversity, it's life in relation to how varied it is. So that's what diversity means, variation. Okay, the variety of in life. And this is an amazing thing to think about because uh, just on the planet alone, just in planet Earth, we are currently what we know as an only species in the universe currently. No, wala pa tayo na-meet na other species of organisms. So in Earth alone, there is a massive amount of variation in life already. Okay, and within each and every species of that varied life forms, of those varied life forms, is variation itself as well. So iba-iba. Okay? Just in us humans, there's a variation in facial features. Just facial features alone, hindi pa yung buong katawan. If you involve the entire body, it is much different from one person to another. There are similarities depending on the arrangement of where the organs are located, where the parts are located, but the point is there are tiny differences that keep us unique from one another, that make us unique from one another. So, in the aspect of biodiversity, one should take note of how natural selection, evolution, basically, dictates this variation in life. And if you thread it back, evolutionarily speaking, we are just part of one big tree of life, family tree of life. So all organisms emerged from a common ancestor, and the ultimate common ancestor, the very first organism to have been present here on the planet, is known as LUCA, an acronym standing for the last universal common ancestor. This LUCA is most likely the very first organism that had emerged from the early beginnings of the planet's creation. Okay? And by creation, hindi ito yung immediately after a few years lang, ganun. It's millions of years before LUCA emerged, okay, as the first organism. And then, if you can remember how natural selection works, you survive, okay? You survive based on the characteristics that you have and based on how the environment will allow your characteristics to shine. That's natural selection. So, nung may lumabas na Luca, itong last universal common ancestor, it spread out. It reproduced, it spread out in various parts of the world, and then in different parts of the world, there were different conditions, and those different conditions provided an avenue for natural selection. Therefore, slowly but surely, Luca diversified. Okay? And then yung mga unang lumabas kay Luca, eventually nag-diversify pa sila depending on the characteristics of the environment where they belong to, and so on, and so on, and so on. And that led us to the variated life forms that we have today and the variated life forms that had lived in the past, including the extinct ones. So sobrang varied natin. Sobrang unique ng bawat isang species, sobrang unique ng mga components ng bawat isang species as well. So, biodiversity in regards to the modern standards is referring to how interactions between organisms and their environment provide the avenue for the diversification of life as well. So, kaya may nagbabago sa environment natin, kaya nagkakaroon ng driving force for evolutionary change is because yung interaction din mismo ng mga organisms sa paligid nila at saka sa amongst themselves. Okay? So we have this diversity as the key, as one of the keys to making Earth a habitable place. Kasi ang ibang planets meron silang environment. Pag sinabi nating environment, ito ay yung kapaligiran lang, yung surroundings, ganun. But here on planet Earth, we have what is known as an ecosystem. So an ecosystem is an interaction between the diversity of organisms that are present in an environment amongst one another and amongst the environment. That is what makes the Earth a constantly habitable place. Kasi merong interactions na nangyayari. Like for example, we're interacting with plants right now. We're breathing in oxygen that they release, and we breathe out carbon dioxide that we don't need. Incidentally, the plants need carbon dioxide for their respiration, and then they release oxygen as they don't need it. So that is an interaction. That's a vital interaction. Okay? So this is what makes the Earth alive. It's within the interactions that happen between organisms and between the organism and their environment that always keeps the Earth a habitable place. Okay? So kaya nga lang sa atin, sa human intervention natin na ginagawa, merong chance na mawala na yung capacity ng Earth to be a habitable place because we are destroying the planet to a certain degree, which is going to be mentioned in this discussion as well. So, all in all, what I'm trying to point here is that we need to maintain that diversity. Okay? That diversity needs to always be present so that we can ensure that the Earth is a habitable place. If that diversity is damaged, if that diversity is not there anymore, halimbawa, puro humans na lang yun nandito, that balance will be different. Okay? That balance will tip over. Okay? It will be tipped over and the Earth might not be a habitable place anymore. Okay? So this is a clue for your Easter egg hunt. Please take note of this and we'll move on to the next one. So this will be a puzzle-like thing. So my recommendation is to take a screenshot of it, take a photo of it, and then you crop it and arrange the puzzle image to form the full image. So types of biodiversity. As we have established earlier, evolution is the reason why there is biodiversity. And this is entirely reliant on the surroundings, okay, of the organism. In particular, its ecosystem. And again, as I have established a while ago, the ecosystem refers to the place wherein the organisms interact with their environment and interact within themselves. So that's what brings about an ecosystem. So what is ecosystem diversity then? So may iba-ibang ecosystem na present sa mundo natin. Can be simplified as different habitats that you have studied in your elementary days. Iba't ibang habitat like the desert, like the ocean, like the tundra, the Arctic region. So these are ecosystems and they contain various environmental characteristics that provide avenue for the organisms living there to generate, to evolve or to be naturally selected and evolve eventually as time passes by. So, geographical ang pinag-uusapan natin sa ecosystem. Okay? So, tropical rainforest, ang tropical rainforest, tapos deserts. And pag sinabi natin desert, hindi yan exclusive sa ano lang, sa mga may init na lugar. Pag sinabi natin desert, it refers to an arid place, a place where it's almost devoid of life. Parang deserted island. Parang pag sinabing deserted island, walang laman yung island na yon. So the same goes with deserts. It can be split into the hot desert that we know of and the cold deserts, which are the Arctic and Antarctic regions, polar regions. Desert din ang tawag doon. Okay? So in this regard, ecosystems can provide many different species, many different chances to be living. Pero merong mga specific na ecosystems na mas maraming species na nakatira doon, mas maraming organisms na nakatira doon. So, in those instances, binibilang yung tinatawag na species diversity in an area. So the most species rich na type ng ecosystem ay yung tinatawag natin na tropical rainforest. So ibig sabihin, ito yung mga lugar katulad ng Amazon rainforest. It has too much, okay? It has too many species present in it. That's why it has a high species diversity area. Pero doon naman sa mga desert areas wherein it is the lowest species diversity, there are a few species only of organisms. And by species, ito yung iba-ibang organisms na nandoon. Like, is there a mushroom there? Is there a specific type of plant there? Is there an animal there that is specifically there? Or there are a lot? Okay? So, rich in species diversity yung maraming organisms na present doon. And by organisms, hindi lang yung iisang species, multiple species of organisms. Okay? And the last type of biodiversity is what we call as genetic diversity. And in genetic diversity, this is diversity within the individual species. So, halimbawa, in humans, gaya na sabi ko kanina, kahit na ang species natin ay humans, magkakaiba tayo ng itsura. Hindi tayo isa ng mukha. Hindi tayo isa ng characteristics. There are minor genetic differences brought about by, obviously, our genetic code or our DNA. So this overall is what's going to trigger the loop of how we're going to have diversity. So dahil sa genetic diversity natin, dahil iba-iba tayo ng genetic code at DNA, ibig sabihin, may iba-iba tayong characteristics. Now, if natural selection happens, genetic diversity is the key to ensuring that there will still be diversity in the future. Ang magsusurvive lang ay yung may fit na characteristics. Yung may fit na characteristics, sila yung mag-generate ng panibagong species in the future, in the far future. Sila yung mag-generate ng panibagong species. So, that ensures that there will always be diversity. So, naglo-loop back siya. Ayan, naglo-loop back siya, as I've mentioned. Now we have established how important it is for diversity to always be present. Okay? We need to think about how the Earth will react if diversity is lost. So meron tayong tinatawag na, maraming problema na tinatawag na human-driven extinction. Sabihin nito, human activities tend to do something which lessen the diversity of the organisms here on the planet. Hindi naman na bago tayo sa mga extinction level events. So pag sinabi natin extinction level event, this is a massive wiping off of organisms of the face of the earth. Okay, and the best example of which is the Cretaceous period extinction level event, which famously killed off the dinosaurs. So nawala sila among the other organisms that have already been here as well. Pero the biggest extinction level event on the planet happened before the dinosaurs came. Okay, ito yung tinatawag natin na Permian-Triassic extinction level event. It wiped out around 94 to 96% of existing organisms both on land and water that time. So yung natitirang 6 to 4%, yun yung nagkaroon ng avenue para mag-evolve through time, and therefore it led into the dinosaurs. Okay? And then, nung nawala na yung mga dinosaurs, it led into the development of mammals. It's our time now. It's humans. Eventually, down the line. Mammals naman at saka humans yung pumalit sa mga dinosaurs. But this extinction level event drastically changed the playing field on the environment of planet Earth. So, nagkaroon na tayo ng multiple extinction level events as I've mentioned. Pero, ang pinaka-crucial na banggitin ngayon ay yung sixth extinction level event na slowly inaabot natin, at ang dahilan ay human activity. Okay? Human activity. So napakarami na nating ginagawa na nakakasira sa environment. Hindi lang bukod pa dun sa mismong pag-hunt dito sa mga organisms na ito. meron pa tayong mga ibang ginagawa that leads into climate change, for example, which drastically change the environment where the organisms live in, which provides food for those organisms. So, hindi natin naiisip, nakakalimutan ata natin na the planet Earth is the only planet that we have. It's the only spaceship that we have in space currently. And if we destroy it to the point that we cannot mend it anymore, we cannot heal it anymore, that diversity would be lost. We will be affected as well in the end. So if our species name is really wise man, Homo sapien, wise man, are we really that wise if we're doing this to the planet, the only planet that can sustain us as far as we know of by now? Okay. Next part of your Easter egg hunt, please take note. Next, just a quick run through of some animals that have been driven to extinction by humans. Ibig sabihin, tayo may gawa nito, hindi nature itself. Pero incidentally, yung iba ay tumatawid from nature because we have destroyed the environment. So woolly mammoth, and we're not the only criminals here. We've hunted them down along with our fellow human species, the Homo neanderthalensis or the Neanderthals. By the way, tayo na lang natitirang human species na may Homo na genus. The rest of the other human species, wala na sila. They have been extinct. So the dodo, it was a slow-moving bird. It was very meaty. So they were overhunted, and now we don't have dodos anymore. Passenger pigeon is almost the same case, pero kasagsagan ng world wars, itong mga passenger pigeon ginagamit pa sila na carriers of letters. Kaya lang, aside from that, they were used for target practice essentially. So pag may nakita ang passenger pigeon, para hindi yan umabot sa dapat niyang kaparoonan, you shoot it down and then it dies. And then they eat the meat as well of pigeons, especially the passenger pigeon. So na-overhunt siya kaya naubos din. Next, the rhinoceros. So may dalawang klase ng rhinoceros dito, meron pang isa mamaya. Pero pareho silang na-extinct na because of overhunting too, because of their ivory. Okay, rhino ivory galing sa kanilang horn. The golden toad has thankfully re-emerged. So nagkaroon siya ng declared extinction way back before. Kaya lang ngayon, in modern times, nakakita ulit sila ng mga golden toads. They have re-emerged from extinction. Okay? Pero both the golden toad and the Yangtze River dolphin has something to do with human intervention concerning their habitats. So Yangtze River dolphin, because of pollution, golden toad because of deforestation. So the rest of the other ones here are in the same case, either overhunting or yung habitat nila ay nasisira. Kaya nangyayari tuloy ay nawawalan sila ng dapat tirhan, and they either move away, and then in moving away, they slowly die off. So that leads into extinction, okay, of various animals. And again, this lessens diversity. And again, if that happens, we will also be affected. Okay? Tandaan na meron tayong tatawag ng mga food chain and food web. I'm sure you remember that from your high school and elementary days. So it's not just a fancy way of saying what eats what. This eats this. Hindi ganun siya. Imagine if one of those species just became extinct. Biglang nawala yung isa dun sa mga nasa food web in particular. Anong kakainin ng mga kumakain sa kanya? At ano naman kakain dun sa mga kinakain niya? It will disrupt the balance of power, I can say, the balance of power in nature. So, magkakaroon ng adjustments ngayon. Maaaring mag-overeat yung ibang organisms kasi maghahanap sila ng pwedeng kakainin nilang iba, nakapalit ng namatay na organism. Or, yung organism naman na kinakain initially nung naging extinct na organism, pwedeng ang mangyari, mag-overpopulate naman sila kasi nabawasan ng mga natural na kumakain sa kanila. So this is going to further disrupt the chain and the web to the point that later down the line, some of the other organisms will also die off. And boiling it down, it will lead to us as well. We'll be affected by that as well. Yun yung iniiwasan natin. Okay? At dapat ma-realize natin na ito mga pinagagawa natin na ito ay babalik at babalik din sa atin. Okay? We slowly need to accept the fact that humans are the issue here. Yung presence natin as a species, okay, yung presence natin as a species is what endangers all the other species, including ourselves, on becoming extinct. So, what do I propose in order to preserve biodiversity? Population control. Okay? Population control. It might sound a little like Thanosian in aspect, pero hindi naman ako katulad ni Thanos. Kaya hindi naman ganoon. Merong justifiable reason kung bakit ito ipopropose. So, essentially, to control the human population that is affecting the diversity of nature and affecting the environment in not so good ways, we need to control the amount of humans present on the planet. Right now, we're around 8 billion. So, way back before, balikan nyo lang, around 1800s, around 1800s lang, panahon ni Rizal. The total population of the planet is just around 2 billion. Go back further than that, hindi sumasampa ng billions before, around millions lang. Collectively, buong planet Earth na yon. Okay? But in a short 200-year time span, we have more than doubled the total population of the planet. Bakit? Kasi merong healthcare, okay? Meron ng paraan para makapag-save ng lives to prevent diseases from happening. So, this is something that is unnatural for the planet. And dahil doon, dumadami nga yung population. At dahil maraming population, kailangan ng living space. So, ayan, deforestation. So, naghahanap ng paraan para makagawa ng mga lugar na pwedeng matirhan. And apart from that, the waste that we generate. Apart from the waste that we generate, it's also the effects of these waste that we generate per day. So, population control would be a necessary step in order to at least tone down our effects in the world. So, paano natin to magagawa? Hindi naman sa, okay, wag ka na mag-anak, hindi ganoon. You just need, well, that's a better option actually, honestly speaking, wag ka na mag-anak. Pero, imagine the effects of the constantly changing world to your future children kung hindi nyo sila plinanan ng maayos. Kaya, we need population control. So, this is the next part of your Easter egg hunt. Please take note of it. Next. Now, population control methods can come in various ways. Okay? Hindi naman essentially dapat wag ka lang mag-anak. Ano yung reasoning mo bakit hindi ka mag-anak? Partly nandoon yun. Ano yung nag-trigger sa'yo para hindi ka mag-anak? So, just think of this. If the constant change in climate continues, okay, and it's not put a solution with kasi walang ginagawa din yung mga nasa people with power, wala nang ginagawa yung mga taong bayan, so ano nangyayari? Napag-iiwanan lang siya, as is lang siya, and it will just worsen more and more in the future. Paano yung mga anak nyo? Paano yung mga apo nyo? Okay, they will be the ones who will be facing the wrath of nature based from what we have done, and especially what the previous people before us have done. Yung generation talaga before us, sila yung totally nagsimula nitong chain reaction of events na ito na hindi na nakontrol. Okay? So this, what I'm doing to you is population control through education and empowerment. So education, ma-realize din nyo na itong mga consequences na pwede mangyari kapag hindi tayo nag-control ng population. So you have the free choice to start being a part of those people or those humans who are trying to control the population or to lessen the population. Empowerment naman, ayan. Once we talk about equality or women empowerment, that also helps in population control because they can focus on their jobs. If we provide equal opportunities for males and females in workplaces, it empowers the women. Sometimes, in some countries nga, dahil empowered na yung women nila, na nagkakaroon sila ng pagbaksak ng population collectively. So dahil bumabagsak yung population nila collectively, ang dahilan noon ay yung mga women, instead na mag-anak, ang ginagawa nilang nila ay magtrabaho. So, nagtatrabaho sila, it's satisfying for them because they earn, and it's providing a way of population control as well. Ganun din naman sa males. Okay, may yung career-oriented ang mga tao. So, that's part of that. Family planning services is the ways we can talk about population control methods in relation to sexual intercourse. Okay, we'll deal with that in the next part. Pero ang concern ko kasi dito sa family planning services sa Pilipinas, medyo tagilid tayo dyan sa part na yan. Kasi tabu pag-usapan sa Pilipinas ang family planning and sex education, which is dapat ini-encourage natin, dapat hindi tabu na pag-usapan yun kasi nga, importante siya sa pag-control ng population. At kung control ng population mo, kung minimal ang population mo, it will affect also your overall, the country's overall functionality. Okay? Ayun lang, for example, sa concept lang ng empowerment Pagka mas maraming tao ang nagtatrabaho sa isang bansa, o di mas mataas yung gross domestic product niya essentially. So may epekto siya sa bansa, di ba? Now, moving on to, ayun na pala, nandito pala, economic development. Yun nga, nangyayari, tumataas yung gross domestic product nila. Kasi mas maraming workforce. At nakafocus sila in working. So aside from that, personal economic development. Kung gusto mong magpayaman, you can do that because you do not have any children to raise, essentially. Okay, na paglalaanan mo no yung kikitain. So you can focus on yourself, how you can satisfy yourself for that craving of enhancing your economic wealth. Okay? So social policies is ang paraan para magkaroon ng population control. Excuse. Social policies like the one-child policy in China is not present here in the Philippines. Wala tayong ganun. Wala tayong limit-limit. Meron lang tayong reproductive health law na nakasuspend ngayon, as far as I know, nakasuspend yung implementation ngayon, na partly may kinalaman sa population control. Pero wala tayong as harsh as China's one-child policy. So, ibig sabihin kasi ng one-child policy, hindi sila pwedeng mag-anak. Sa sobrang dami na ng tao sa China, hindi sila pwedeng mag-anak ng more than one. Okay? So, nasa batas nila yun. Pero in recent years, pwede na. More than one, I think 2 yata yung limit na ngayon. Pero still, that's a drastic measure to control the population kung nasa batas na siya. And thankfully, wala tayong ganun. We still have the choice over whether we're going to engage ourselves in population control. Which brings us to family planning and family planning methods. Okay? Reproductive health and reproductive education. Kung ayaw ng bansa na ito na tawagin siyang sex education, tawagin natin siyang mas magandang pakinggan na reproductive health education. Okay? So, reproductive health education is crucial. Bakit? This will educate the younger generation to be more responsible in engaging in sexual intercourse. Personally speaking, wala akong pakialam kung kayo ay active in sexual encounters or sexual intercourse. It's none of my business. The question is, are you doing it responsibly? Baka mamaya kasi isa kayong klase ng tao na gusto ng sexual intercourse or sex for short, pero ayaw nyo ng responsibility. Pero hindi kayo gumagamit ng family planning methods. Ayun ang gagawin. Wala tayong magagawa doon. Baka may chance na makabuntis or mabuntis kayo, and it could be potentially problematic on your end. Hindi pwedeng tawagin lang natin laging blessing yung mga ganong bagay. Hindi siya, yung mga ganong situations pala. Hindi natin pwedeng tawagin na blessing from the Lord, mga ganon. There is a way for us to mitigate the chances. Okay? Again, if you're active sexually, use family planning methods. Okay? Kasi itong mga conservatives, let's call them that, itong mga conservatives sa ating bansa, ito yung sistema. ayaw ng abortion. So, ibig sabihin, ayaw nila ng mga unplanned na situation. Eh, paano kung merong mga cases ng ano? Paano kung merong mga cases ng na-violate? Okay? Mga na-violate because of, na-violate tapos nagkaroon ng offspring. Isn't that a case for abortion? Tatawagin mo bang blessing yun? And apart from that, abortion is a form of healthcare. Kasi, paano kung magkakaroon ng future disability yung bata or paano kung magkakaroon ng disorder yung bata paglaki? Okay? Halimbawa talagang may mga cases kasi genetically speaking na meron talagang short lifespan lang na expected doon sa mga batang may genetic anomalies. So, are you going to allow the child to suffer first before extracting them when they are still not that much of, or they are still not as big as an actual toddler? So, ito yung mga question na again, for sure, may iba-ibang perspective ng iba't ibang tao. Pero ang sinasabi ko rito, isa yung example ng point na itong mga conservatives na ito ay medyo tagilid in my perspective. So, ayun nga, ayaw nila ng abortion. Pero ayaw din ng contraception. Ayaw din ng family planning methods. Kailangan lang daw ay natural family planning. So, natural family planning is okay, but it depends from person to person. Hindi mo pwedeng ipuwersa na mag-natural family planning kayo kasi immoral yan, kasi hindi yan tama sa paningin ng one above all, let's put it like that. Pero alam natin na may chances na magkaroon ng sexual encounter yung mga kabataan. Because again, it's part of discovering your sexual self. Okay? Mainam kung ikaw ay may control over yourself in the aspect of, okay, I will be deciding, it's your moral principle not to have or not to engage in sexual intercourse until you are married. And that's good, but not all children are that. Bakit? Kasi yung pangatlo, sex education or reproductive health education. Walang nag-educate ng tama dito sa mga bata na ito. Walang nagsasabi dito sa mga bata na ito, anong pwede mangyari sa'yo kapag ka nabuntis ka during your teenage years? Walang nag-educate sa kanila. Kahit yung mismong parents, pag tinanong, ay bastos yan, hindi dapat natin yung pinag-uusapan. Move on to the next topic. So, that sense, that tingling sense, okay, of why is that not allowed? Why is that not right? It might trigger them to actually test it out. It might trigger them further because of their curiosity. Okay? Because of their curiosity, it might trigger them to try and find out, ano bang reason, bakit ba? What's the hoot about regarding this? So, tatlo yun. Ayaw ng abortion, ayaw ng contraception, tas ayaw ng reproductive health education. Tas magugulat tayo, may mga cases ng mga kabataan ngayon na merong unwanted pregnancies or unprepared pregnancies. Buti nga sa recent na news, nakita na detect ng PSA na pababa. Okay? Merong trend na in the next few years, baka hindi umakyat yung ating population, medyo pababa siya. Because again, of women empowerment in workplaces. Okay, nagpo-focus sa career ang karamihan ng tao, kahit hindi lang women, pati men as well. Ayaw nang magkaanak because, or hindi na muna mag-aanak kasi focus sa career. Sa hirap ba naman dito sa Pilipinas, hindi ka ba talaga magpo-focus sa career mo? Okay? So, this is a choice that you can make. Okay lang kung mag-anak kayo, okay lang na hindi kayo mag-anak. It's your option. Okay? Pero kung hindi pa kayo ready for the responsibility of being a parent, but you are engaged to have sexual activities, do family planning methods. To introduce a few of them to you. So hormonal refers to pills, okay? Oral contraceptives and some implants and rings, vaginal rings. So collectively, ito ay minimess up yung hormones, okay, ng katawan ng female para hindi siya mag-generate ng egg cell, therefore hindi siya pwedeng mabuntis. So this is highly effective. Highly effective ang hormonal method. Ang ganap lang dito, dapat properly regulated yung intake niya. Okay, like for example, dun sa pills, oral contraceptives, may ano yan, may timing yan. Na pag nag-miss out ka, pwede pumalya yung product. So, if you follow properly and you engage in sexual intercourse kahit na sa loob in-release yung ejaculatory fluid, hindi ka pa rin pwedeng hindi ka makakabuntis or hindi ka mabubuntis if merong hormonal method na involved. Kasi the cycles, the menstrual and ovarian cycle in females are all reliant on certain amounts of hormones in the body. Now, if those hormones are altered in volume or altered in amount, it will affect the development of the egg cell. Okay? Or yung production pala in development, the production of the egg cell. So, yun ang nangyayari with hormonal. Ginagalaw niya yun. Ang problema, highly effective ito, pero most likely, pag gusto mo na magkaanak, hininto mo yung hormonal method, baka hindi ka agad bumalik. Or worst case scenario, baka hindi na makabalik talaga. So, this is highly effective, pero again, it has its risk. You might not have your chance of having a child if you utilize hormonal methods. Okay, so that's it. Next, the most common of the family planning methods is the barrier method. So ito yung paggamit ng condom. Yes, there are female condoms as well, and along with the other things like diaphragms and cervical caps. Pero out of these materials, the condoms are the ones you are most familiar with, most likely. So, etong barrier method, ang ginagawa niya, in-encapsulate niya yung ejaculatory fluid para hindi makapunta doon sa dapat niya kapuntahan inside the female. The problem with that is, this is effective as long as you utilize it properly. Kapag mali kasi ang pagkagamit ng condom, especially for the male condom, may tamang paraan ng paglalagay niyan. Okay? Tamang paraan ng paglalagay niyan. Kapag ka na mali ang lagay ng condom, pwedeng mag-escape yung semen and it could still get somebody fertilized. So that's the problem with the condoms. However, out of all the family planning methods, only condoms are the ones that protect you both from unwanted or unprepared pregnancies and sexually transmitted infections or sexually transmitted diseases. Okay? So hindi porket naka-hormonal ka, for example, naka-pills ka, hindi ka na rin matatransmitan ng sexually transmitted diseases. Lalo na kung ikaw ay active sexually, multiple partners ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, maaari ka pa rin makakuha ng STD or STI. Kasi meron pa rin contact doon sa actual genitalia yung fluids na nanggagaling doon sa other person. So that's the problem there. But with the barrier method, you will be protected kasi nasasalo niya yung fluids. Okay? So, if you're active sexually and you are trying to prevent both an unprepared pregnancy and yourself from sexually transmitted diseases or infections, the best possible method for you is the barrier method using condoms. Okay? Pero tandaan, may tamang paggamit o paglalagay ng condom. Pag nagkamali, pwedeng magresulta pa rin yan sa yung ayaw ninyong mangyari. Okay? The next part of your Easter egg hunt, please take note. Next, IUD or intrauterine devices. Now, the difference of IUD with the hormonal method is that IUDs are quickly reversible. Okay? It disrupts the production of the egg cell, but it is how will I put this? It disrupts the production of the egg cell, but once you remove it, the egg cells will produce smoothly. Kasi itong mga IUD ay gawa ito sa thin copper wire na yung copper ions na nire-release noon, once na-detect yun ng ovary, hindi siya gagawa ng egg cell. Hindi right environment yun para sa kanya. And these IUDs can last for years, depending on the brand, or some can just last for months. Pero ang point nito, pag tinanggal mo na siya, as long as hindi siya as long as hindi siya na disalign from that position na parang naka-letter T siya, as long as hindi yan na disalign, it will be ineffective. It will be as effective as the hormonal method. Now, once you remove it, okay, o halimbawa gusto mo na magkaanak, okay, sige, tanggalin natin yung IUD. Pag pinatanggal yan sa doktor ang magtatanggal yan. Ha? Pag tinanggal yan ng doktor, yung ovary, madetect, okay, wala nang copper ion sa paligid natin, we can return back to the regular formatting and they can produce egg cells once again. So, yun ang nangyayari. Kaya siya long-acting pero reversible na contraceptive. Okay? So, this is the setup that could be ideal for you as well. If you want, if you just can decide when you're going to have a child, but you are active sexually, you don't want to use condoms, and you don't prefer hormonal method because it might disrupt your capacity, you might become infertile, you use IUD. Ngayon, halimbawa naman may anak na kayo, tapos ayaw na ninyo na magkaanak pa pero gusto nyo pa ng sexual intercourse. So, sterilization is the key. And here's the thing, ang nakakainis sa society natin ngayon, yung female na nga ang magdadala ng bata for 9 months, yung female na nga yung manganganak after that 9-month gestation period, tapos yung female pa yung magpapaligate. Napaka-common, ang dami kong kakilala na yung female pa yung nagpapaligate. Like, tas ano pang gagawin? Yung lalaki, tatambay lang sa bahay, di mag-aalaga ng anak. Yung babae, gagawin pa rin yung mga gawain bahay habang nag-aalaga ng anak. Tapos, pagka nanghingi ng sexual favor yung lalaki, yung babae pa mag-a-adjust, siya dapat yung magpapaligate kasi ayaw na nun lalaki ng anak. Like, what's the logic in that? Sterilization, I would recommend, it's a challenge actually, not a recommendation for the males of this class. In the future, kung ayaw nyo na magkaanak, please, kayo na yung magpa-vasectomy. Wag na yung female. Wag nang dagdagan pa. Isang maliit na bagay yun. Maliit na tulong yun para sa inyong partner in the future. Na kayo na yung magpa-vasectomy, kayo na yung magpa-sterilize, wag na sila. Okay? This can be reversible to a certain degree. However, it's a case-to-case basis. Depending on the success of the operation, pwede yang mabalik. Either sa male or sa female, pwede yang mabalik. But very minimal chance na maging effective siya. Okay? It's a case-to-case basis. So, most likely, kapag ka nag-decide ka na magpa-vasectomy or tubal ligation, there's no backing out. So, you can still engage yourself in sexual intercourse and you don't have to worry anymore on getting somebody pregnant or getting pregnant. Okay? So, that's for the concept of sterilization. Kung iniisip ng mga kalalakihan dito, ay sir, paano yung pagka nagpa-vasectomy ako, hindi na ba ako magiging lalaki kasi puputulin yung bayag ko? Ay, hindi po, hindi ganun yun. Magkaiba ng tubo na dinadaanan yung sperm cell doon sa testosterone mo na nagpapakotan-coat lalaki sa'yo. So, lubayan mo yung pag-iisip na yan kasi palusot lang yan. Hindi yan, kung natatakot ka or kinakabahan ka, it's a simple process, the vasectomy. They'll just put in a small incision on your scrotum, 2 incisions, and then they will cut off a piece there, 2 snips, it's done. Siyempre, isasara nila yung binuksan nilang part. So, pagkasara nun, you rest for a few days. Actually, in some cases, parang 1 to 2 days lang, for maximum of a week, then you can go back and do what you're supposed to do. Sir, paano yun? Ano yung i-release ko? Meron pa ba akong i-release pagka nag-ejaculate ako? Yes, meron pa din. Ang difference lang, kung yung nire-release mo ngayon ay milky white or cloudy yellowish white, wala nang ganung kulay. Clear fluid na lang i-release mo kasi wala nang lamang sperm yung i-release mong ejaculatory fluid. It's just the semen. Kasi pinutol na yung connection with what's going to release the sperm. Sir, ano mangyayari doon sa sperm ko? Ano mangyayari doon? Hindi na ba yun, baka magkasakit ako dahil doon. Hindi po, it's a natural process in the body. Once you don't release the sperm cells, it will be retracted back and it will be broken down into its basic pieces and it will be recycled for other use. So hindi siya unhealthy din. Okay? So please take note of that. That's my challenge to the boys of this class. Take note that you can visit a doctor regarding this, urologist in particular. Alam ko sila ang nag-specialize din sa male sterilization. So you check a doctor and converse with them should you plan not to have a child anymore but still engage in sexual intercourse. Now, moral, the most moral but the most ineffective family planning method is the natural family planning. Tsambahan ito. Kasi ang pinagbabasihan dito ay yung menstrual and ovarian cycle ng female. Okay? This is commonly known as the calendar method. Dito pumapasok yan. Calendar method or withdrawal method, dito rin pumapasok yan. Ito yung mga natural family planning methods. But again, both are highly ineffective. Especially yung withdrawal method. Kasi yung withdrawal method na yon, kahit sabihin mong upon the ejaculatory release, ipinul out mo or withdrawal or pull-out method. Pinull out mo yung iyong penis sa labas nag-release ng ejaculatory fluid. Let me tell you something. The pre-ejaculatory fluid, or more commonly known as pre-cum, can already get somebody pregnant. Meron siyang chance na magkaroon ng laman ng sperm cell. At pag yung sperm cell mo ay hayok na maka-fertilize ng egg, against all odds, pwede niyang maabot yung egg cell at eventually ma-fertilize yung egg na nag-iintay. Kahit na yung main ejaculatory release mo ay sa labas mo ipinutok, essentially, pwede pa rin mabuntis. May slight chance. But would you risk that slight chance? Yes, sir, slight chance lang naman. Again, but would you risk that slight chance? There is still a slight chance. So, I would suggest try to utilize the other family planning methods. Ganon din doon sa aspect naman ng calendar method. O, ano ba, tinatrack ninyo yung period ng partner ninyo. Tapos, okay, ito safe to. Pwede akong makipag-sexual intercourse nito. Pwede kami mag-sexual intercourse nito para hindi siya mabuntis. Ganon. That is possible. However, once again, tandaan ninyo, merong mga females na irregular yung cycle. That's only highly effective kung tama yung pagkabilang mo at highly regular yung partner mo. Okay? Pero kung ang pag-uusapan natin ay yung irregular, yung period. Okay? Irregular or may irregularity sa period, maaaring mamali kayo ng bilang at maaaring ang tamaan mo pa ay yung ovulation period. Yung 5 to 7 day period na yun ng ovulation ay paano ba? Yung 5 to 7 period na yun ng ovulation, ito yung isa sa mga araw na yun, magre-release yung ovary ng egg cell. Okay? Mag-ovulate. Yun yung ovulation. So, kapag natsambahan mo yun, 1 day lang yun dun sa 7. Okay? Pag natsambahan mo yung 1 day na yun na yung ovulation mismo yung tinamaan mo, most likely mabubuntis yung female. Okay? So, those most fertile days are highly likely to be avoided in the natural family planning method called as calendar method if you're doing that. Pero again, ang mai-recommend ko, yun ay possible. Pwede nyo gamitin yung calendar method kung gusto nyo na magkaanak. Kung gusto nyo na magkaanak, tatansyahin nyo, okay, ito yung fertile period mo, tapos dito tayo mag-sexual intercourse and then do it. Okay? So itong method ay pwedeng gumana na ito sa mga naghahanap talaga ng anak. Pero again, kung ang concept mo ay ayaw mo pang magkaanak pero gusto mo na sexual intercourse, alisin mo yung natural family planning method, dubayan mo yan. Saka yung withdrawal method kasi highly ineffective yan. Okay? And upon discussing this to multiple students already, I have understood that some of them still believe that that can happen. And yes, it can happen. Pero again, are you risking it? Are you willing to risk it? Okay? Imagine the effects if you're going to risk it. So yun yung pag-isipan ninyo. Kung ayaw nyo nito, huwag kayong mag-natural family planning method kung ayaw nyo pang magkaanak talaga. Gusto nyo lang ng intercourse. Pumili kayo ng family planning methods. Or, boil it down, abstinence is still the best family planning method. Lubayan mo yan. Okay? Wag kang mag-engage muna with sexual intercourse if you're not ready to have the responsibilities of a parent yet. Okay? So yun yung pinag-uusapan natin dito. Right? So next, what are the benefits of having family planning methods? So una na sa lahat, yung unintended or unwanted or unprepared pregnancies, both in older women ito at sa younger women, ha? Kasi sa older women, pwedeng ito ay problematic sa kanilang katawan kapag sila ay nagbuntis ng late. Ganon din naman sa mga younger, obviously. Pero again, because of this drive for sexual intercourse, especially in the younger generation, dahil curious sila, nagkakaroon ng tendency na maging health risk yung pregnancy sa kanila. So it's part of what's being mitigated if family planning methods are present. Kasi ang thinking ng mga nakatatanda, kapag tinuruan ng sex education ng mga bata, required makipag-sex yung mga bata kapag natutunan na nila yun. But in reality, it sort of, honestly speaking, scares some students, as I've taught before in elementary regarding family planning and reproductive health education. Pag tinuturo ko ito si grade 6 before, meron sa kanila ng mga napapaisip na ayoko na pong mag-anak. Well, they're young, they're still young, but at least it's embedded in their head. Okay? That should they ever encounter a situation that they're going to have or they're going to be invited for sexual intercourse, they can make the proper call. They can buy condoms, they can utilize family planning methods to avoid an unintended pregnancy. Okay? So, yun yung pinag-uusapan natin dito. They're discovering their sexual selves. However, they're on the responsible and safe side. Okay? Now, isa pa, sa family planning naman, halimbawa mag-asawa na kayo or mag-partner na kayo na gustong magkaanak, you're not going to put them close together. So, halimbawa, 1 year after may anak ka ulit. Imagine the economic side of the thing that you're trying to do. Okay? Tapos pag nag-aaral na yung bata, nag-aaral na. So kung magkasunod lang yan na year, may benefits yun, pero may disadvantages din. So you need to properly space them. The gap of 4 to 5 years is good enough to ensure optimal health for both the mother and the child. Kasi yung bata, medyo nagkakaroon na ng maturity. Okay, na-realize na, okay, may kapatid ako, iba yung responsibility ko na ngayon. So, if you distance them apart a little bit, hindi yung sobrang dikit. Obviously, women empowerment, as we have mentioned a while ago, benefit yun ng family planning kasi nakakapag-focus career yung females. And their choice, it's their choice. Leave it to the women's choice on whether they're going to have children or not. Okay? Or you need to talk about this as partners because you are partners. Yun nga yung concept, di ba? You're partners. So you need to talk about these things so that you can know what path to take. Tapos improve family stability kasi ang unintended pregnancy pwede siyang mag-trigger ng iba't ibang problems. Like for example, unintended pregnancy tapos iniwan pa nung lalaki yung female. Tapos nagkaroon ng hatred. There's a thing like this. Karoon ng hatred dun sa anak niya, yung mother. Okay? Dahil sa iyo, hindi na ako nakapagtrabaho. Dahil sa iyo, hindi na ako nakapagtapos ng pag-aaral. Dapat di ka na lang pinanganak. So ano epekto nun sa bata? Isipin ninyo. I hope that you're not experiencing those kinds of situations in your lives. But should you have, it's because of something that wasn't carefully thought about. Okay? So yun nga, and ang positive side naman na yan, to consider as blessing, so if you take, and then you'll grow as the person you need to be. But the thing is, you might have some psychologically related drawbacks. Kasi, baka mamaya, yun nga yung isip. Yun, baka mamaya, ay okay, naging ganun pala epekto sa parents. So it will cause some disruptions with the character of that person. So it improves family stability kasi nabibigyan ng focus ng mother yung panganay muna, tapos Yung father, ay ganun din. Isa lang yung kanilang binibigyan ng attention. Wala yung sibling rivalry thing na pwedeng mangyari. So maraming positive effects to. Ganun din sa monetary aspects of things. If you are family planning properly, you can think about, okay, sige, ganitong panahon, nasa ganitong year na si panganay. So si Bunso naman ay nasa ganitong year na din. So nababalance out and nasa strategize ng mag-partner yung situation, which will improve family health, okay, and stability overall. So tandaan, ayan, sa mga kalalakihan dito, take note that once you engage in this, kung ayaw nyo pa talaga ng responsibility, take in family planning methods. Kasi, kung halimbawa, nag-engage kayo in sexual intercourse without family planning methods, you might get your partner pregnant, and the situation that I have mentioned might happen. Baka hindi pa kayo pala handa. Hindi pa kayo handang pareho. O ikaw mismo, hindi ka pa rin handa maging tatay. So, anong gagawin mo? Iwanan mo yung female. Maghahanap ka ng iba. That's, that's just something that is terrible to think about, but it happens. It happens in the real world. Simple lang yung solusyon. Bumili ka ng condom sa 7-Eleven. Okay? You want to engage in sexual intercourse? Bumili ka ng condom sa 7-Eleven, then do it. Think about the life that you might create that could get potentially be distressing, and the distress that it's going to cause to the female. Ito pang isang pwedeng mangyari dyan. So, yung female, nabuntis, tapos sinamahan nga nung lalaki, pero hindi maganda yung kanilang relationship kasi hindi sila quote-unquote para sa isa't isa. So, think about the steps. Okay? Think about the steps that you're trying to make as you go along and discover your sexual selves. Because it could present a dangerous path for you, for both of you, later down the line. Okay, and we would want to avoid that, but we will also want to understand our sexual selves. So a perfect balance should be there. Okay, so tandaan niyo yan. Siyempre, kung may benefit ito sa individuals, pero din itong benefit sa society. So, nababawasan yung maternal mortality kasi nga, yun nga, pag wala doon sa prime age of getting pregnant, ang isang female, either younger or older, they're risking the pregnancy, the chances of surviving giving birth, pwede silang mamatay habang sila'y nanganganak. So, yun yung pinabawasan din ng proper family planning. So, economic development, so pagkita natin kanina, addressing population growth and associated social and environmental changes. Ito yung target ko naman dito. Ang family planning para mabawasan yung tao sa mundo na pwedeng mag-cause ng issues sa mundo natin. Okay? Para ma-preserve yung biodiversity, para ma-preserve yung ating environment for the next generations to come. Okay? Plan your family properly and you'll be able to help society and the environment and Earth to survive further in the future. Okay, so this is the next part of your Easter egg hunt. Okay. Now, to end this discussion, I would just like to end with this quote. Curiosity kills the cat, but in reproduction, it creates a new one. So take note, kung kayo ay isa doon sa mga klase ng bata na suppress yung mga tanong nyo regarding sex education. Okay? And you are now trying to scratch that curiosity in your head, inside of your head. Just take note that this lesson is meant for you to be educated so that you can make the proper and responsible choices so that you can still be curious, you can still engage in discovering your sexual self, but in a responsible way. Okay? Kasi, kung ang curiosity ninyo ang magdadrive sa inyo para makipag-sexual intercourse ng walang kahit anong family planning method, boom, merong bagong tao na pwedeng lumabas. At boom, merong bagong tao na pwedeng maka-further destroy sa environment natin if not properly educated. With that, we end the discussion about the biodiversity lesson. That's all. Thank you.